Bella, what can we expect from Huddersfield in the Women's Super League this year?
I think it's just a new start. I think obviously last year wasn't how we wanted it to go, but we've learnt a lot from it. We took some heavy defeats, but we know that resilience and that strive to continue we were going to bring on to next year. So I think bringing that alongside a new coach, new structure, new players, I think it's exciting. Yeah.
A massive step up, isn't it, into those big games against the big teams. What were the main lessons you learned from those?
I think it's just to keep going no matter what. You know, some games we didn't even have enough players to raise a squad. The last game against St Helens had to be played. It was postponed from I can't remember what it was, so it had to be cancelled for some reason. But we only had 12 players available. They had a full team of England players. You know, when you're coming up as a 17-year-old, it's daunting, it's awful, it hurts, it's not nice. But I think we know that it's never going to get worse than that again. So sort of bringing what we've learned into this season, we're strong, we're ready to go. So yeah.
As a young squad, that resilience, is that part of the building process to build a great team?
I think definitely. I think we've all learnt so much from that, but now it's exciting to think we've got this new structure, we know what we're doing, we can go into these games confident in our own ability and not doubting ourselves like we were last year.
What are you hoping to achieve personally from Rugby League this year?
Personally for me, it's just about taking a bit more of a leadership role. I think I'm still young myself, but I've had 3 years experience with this team now, so I think I've got a lot to offer. Obviously I was in the England Knights last year, so for me personally it's building on that, getting into that squad again, and if not, pushing on to the performance team eventually at some point.
So we are now 3 years away from the next World Cup. It's 2 years. 2 years away from the next World Cup.
Yeah.
It's coming up anyway, so you want to be there or thereabouts when it comes down.
Definitely. I think even if it's not making the team, it's pushing them players that are already at that level, and I want to be better than them. You know, players have set the level now, but I think us as Giants, we want to do more than that. You know, it might not happen this year, it might not happen next year, but give us 3 or 4 years and we'll be up there.
Yeah, outside of being able to clone Jodie Cunningham or Caitlin Beavers or whatever, it's just about building and slow incremental builds, I guess, as they say.
It is, yeah. I think it's creating our own identity as a team. You know, every team is different. York Saints, Leeds are all different, but we're also different. We've come on a different journey to them. I said earlier, they've never been put through what we've been through. They've never lost that heavily. So I think us doing that and learning from that, we can only get better.
It's only a couple of years ago you won the Shield final here, so you know what it's like to win silverware as well.
Definitely, we had a really good season, we had a good run through then, and I think that's kind of at the back of our minds all the time, that we have earned our place in Super League. You know, we deserve to be there. We're not just kind of there to fill numbers, we're there to have competitive games and be competing against the top teams.
What's your recruitment been like this year? Because every team has obviously made some quite high profile and significant signings. How do you feel your squad's looking?
I think we built up the squad. Obviously we've lost quite a couple of players throughout the year. We lost a few, obviously we had Shona Hoyle and players like that at the start. Those players kind of left for obvious reasons, but we've kind of recruited a lot from Wakefield and other clubs, rugby union players. We often attract quite a lot of them, so it's just working with them and just building them into our squad. But they've built in nicely, and I think we've got a young enough squad but pretty skillful, so I'd back us to do really well this year. Yeah.
And in terms of aims and ambitions, clearly we've heard a couple of teams on the stage saying they're going for Super League 1.
Yeah.
What are yours?
I think our aims are just, like I said, to compete. We've got kind of Warrington and Wigan, who they're winnable games for us. We have to win them games, so it's making sure we're kind of prepared in that aspect for those games, but also knowing in the bigger games to back in our own ability and kind of go into them games confident that we can compete at least, if not get a result.
And what about the Cup? That's group stages. Do you fancy your chances in that? Can you see a couple of winnable games there?
Yeah, massively. I think definitely quarterfinals, semi-finals, we're looking to be there. You know, your top 6 teams in the Super League, they should really be getting through to the quarters and the semis, so we aim to be there, definitely, yeah.